So let's talk about why this approach that our imaginary character here, Sarah, is using isn't working. And what we're going to do over the next 7 weeks, with today being week one. So from the conversations that I've had recently with a number of members and prospective members and their frustrations and what they've been doing in the past, and they're confused as to why things aren't working, I decided to put together the graphic that you're seeing on the screen right here. And this is what we're going to unpack: exactly what to do to actually make progress with dropping body fat, with increasing your energy, with getting stronger, but with the main focus of it being on the fat loss component. So if we look at the story I just gave about Sarah, she took a common approach that I hear many people take and wonder why it isn't working, which is to start with running. Well, if you look at the pyramid, we want to start at the bottom. We want to have a really strong base. So we have these different components that we're going to unpack: mindset, nutrition, sleep and stress management, small group personal training, metabolic conditioning, and then low intensity movement. Now, rather than starting at the bottom, which we'll talk about next week, Sarah started at the top, right? By starting at the top, she started with low intensity movement. And the problem with that is that while, yes, that low intensity movement, the running, will burn calories, it doesn't actually elevate our metabolism, right? We're going to talk about what does coming up, but running does not increase our metabolism. So when the run is over and the little bit of time that it takes to recover from that run, once that period is over, we're done burning calories and we didn't actually do anything to change our metabolism, right? So she did that for a while. And then the progress kind of weaned off and she's frustrated. She runs into her friend Jen at Starbucks, and Jen says, you got to come over to Orange Theory Fitness, right? And it's not to pick on Orange Theory Fitness. It's just a good example right now of a program that is more metabolic in nature, similar to our metabolic conditioning. So I'm not saying anything bad about it, but I'm just talking about like what it is, and it's a common approach right now. So Orange Theory Fitness, our metabolic conditioning, right? Great programs. Obviously, I have things that I would pick on with Orange Theory Fitness. I'm a little biased towards our metabolic conditioning. But what the benefit of these programs are is they actually burn more calories, and we're working at a higher intensity. So we're elevating what's called EPOC, excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. And this is really just our body working to recover from the workout and get back to our baseline. And in doing so, it revs up our metabolism for hours after the workout, which is good, right? But it doesn't do anything to get our metabolism working with us 24/7, right? And we're going to talk about what does coming up, and you're probably starting to catch on to what that is, because if you can read, it's right there. And the next thing that Sarah did was she was like, all right, well, that's not working. So she started messing around with nutrition. But rather than necessarily going to something that she liked that fit her lifestyle, she went to something that felt restrictive, and it made her give up the things that she actually enjoys. It demonized, maybe sugar, maybe the alcohol that she likes to have, right? And so while she followed it for 30 days and she had success, whatever, measure of success that may be during that time, whenever she came off of Whole30, she went back to her vices. It didn't actually change her habits. And she found herself back where she was before, and maybe even worse. And then we could go on and say, work got busy. So now her attendance to Orange Theory Fitness and her consistency with running drops off. And so since we didn't change her metabolism and we've gone back to our old ways of eating, we're going to go right back to how we were before, and maybe even worse off, because now we're jaded and don't feel like we can actually do this. Our mindset's broken, right? And we take ourselves further away from doing the things that would have actually delivered results in the first place, right? So very common approach. People want to get in better shape. They start running. Then maybe they attend some type of a high intensity conditioning class because they think that's what they need to drop additional body fat, like Orange Theory Fitness, or even CrossFit would fall into that category. They work on their nutrition, but with things that don't really fit their lifestyle and take into account the things that they like to do. And they get on this perpetual cycle of start again, stop again, start again, stop again, until they become so jaded that they no longer either believe that they can do it or even care to do it. And it's a bad place to be, right? So seeing that most people start from the top and work their way down in the pyramid, over the next 6 weeks, we're going to talk about each layer of this pyramid from the bottom up and how to actually approach this stuff and actually get results with dropping body fat, increasing energy, getting stronger, all the things we want to do. But again, the main focus being on dropping body fat, since that's what most people coming in say that they want to do. So stay tuned. And if you saw yourself in this story about Sarah and you have any questions or anything at all, just shoot a reply to this email and I'll be happy to answer your questions for you and talk again soon.